for my primary research, I will be doing a series of interviews. First interview will be with my mother, as she herself suffers with a mental illness. Right. I will be asking my mother for a statement. Name is Sharon Lewis. I will be asking a series of questions, of which she'll be answering as honestly and truthfully as she can, and as much information as she'd like to provide within herself. We shall start this. Hello. First of all, do you mind me interviewing you and using this video as part of my research document?
No.
Right. So, first question I'd like to ask is, do you yourself have a mental illness? And if so, what mental illness do you suffer with, or have, should I say?
I suffer with depression, clinical depression and anxiety.
Thank you. Does anyone in the family other than yourself have a mental illness that you know of, or that have known of?
Maybe my mum, but I'm not too sure. I don't really know much about her and mental state.
Okay. How long have you had your mental illness, like your depression and anxiety?
22 years.
And how has it affected your life?
I found it was hard because you can't control it, and I couldn't control how I was or how I feel, and obviously it has set me back from doing things I wanted to do in my life. And I suppose it's affected friends and family. You, George, not affected, I suppose. Yeah, it's affected me knowing that a young brother had to grow up and watch me with my mental breakdowns or wanting to kill myself, and knowing that you two have to deal with that, and I've had to deal with that. Sometimes you have to deal with it on a daily basis, so yeah, it's took over my life. I'm not the person that I used to be. You know.
Cheers. Right, obviously, I'm going to ask you a question, and depending on, obviously, the response depends on the following question. So, question 3, do you care for anyone, or have you cared for anyone within, the family who has or have had a mental illness?
No.
No. Well, in that case, then does like does caring for yourself, or should I say, who does care for the person, if who suffers, like basically yourself, who has it mainly just self care.
Well, you and Jordan have helped when I've not felt like doing anything and been at my lowest point. You two have helped, whether it's making sure I've eaten, or whether it's just trying to cheer me up, or tidy up, do the shopping, whatever. Yeah.
Like I said previously, as we know, you suffer with with depression, clinical depression and anxiety. Like, basically, would you prefer to have had someone there to help you through the processes, helped other than me and my brother who's cared for you? Would you have preferred to have someone to have helped, or do you reckon basically how you've done so far is good enough? Is it
I mean, don't get me wrong, I had John Hosey, who's an art psychotherapist, but obviously I got assigned to him quite late, because I've had to kind of deal with this not only by myself, but then obviously you and your brother had to try and help me deal with it. And it's hard because you feel isolated, and there's been many a time they don't want to sort of burden you and just deal with it, because you just feel like there isn't anyone out there. And to be honest, I still don't think there is enough out there.
Okay. Prior to carers, like I just mentioned, have you had anyone other than family members that have helped you support with your depression and anxiety? Or is it just mainly friends and family that have sort of helped support you through this as much as they can?
Well, like I said before, John Hosey, the art psychotherapist, him, he was just on kind of the same level, listened, understood, but still, the length of time that you have with, whether it's a therapist or a psychiatrist or a counsellor, it's not long enough.
Okay. If you could have recognised or indicated these mental illnesses sooner, how would you have dealt with this, and what procedures would you have put in place to prevent or help this situation from happening? Sorry about that. If you could have recognised or indicated the specific mental health you have, how would you have dealt with it, and what procedures would you have put in place to prevent this from happening? What would you have done to help it?
Because it's a bit hard, really, to answer that. I know what you mean, but I don't know. I suppose if I did know, maybe I'd have got help, seeked help sooner. I don't know, but you don't ever know yourself that you're gonna get it. You just kinda could wake up one day and just don't want to be here, and or you could wake up and you cry, you don't know why, and then day after day it's the same, and you start feeling down. But it could be anything could cause it. Situation, living, how you live, having no money, someone's died, you split up. Anything can cause it, and you can handle it for so long, and then one day your head might just go. So you can't sort of try and stop it in a sense. It's hard. That's a hard one.
That's fine. I mean, you've answered it as honestly and as much as you feel like could be answered, and that's obviously more than enough information. I mean, it is an unusual question and difficult. I mean, each person responds to that question differently depending on their mental health they suffer with or have, should I say. So no, it's fine. Right, final question. If you could help others who have or have had a mental illness similar to yourself, what advice would you give them and why?
Just if they know in themselves that they're low and they're feeling depressed, down, just tell somebody, just speak to somebody. It does help. Because if you don't, then it could get worse. And at the end of the day, your family and your friends don't want to see you crumble and be like that. Because as much as you're like that, it's hurting them as well, because they feel helpless and don't know what to do. So you need to just speak to someone who you can trust, for your own sake, for your own sanity.
Right, thank you for that. End of interview, and it's been a pleasure.